Sony's SRS-RA5000 wireless speaker offers a number of intriguing audio modes that simply don't sound very good, while its default performance could never comes close to justifying its high price. Sony's SRS-RA5000 wireless speaker aims to deliver a truly immersive listening experience, turning mere stereo audio into ambient room-filling sound and even playing back 360 reality audio tracks mixed, or remixed, with Sony algorithms and technology so that you feel truly surrounded by sound. Sony thinks this effect, driven by multiple drivers inside a big and bulky speaker, is worth $699.99. It might be, if the immersive audio didn't sound so strange, and if the few 360 reality audio tracks didn't sound perplexingly bad. Stereo audio sounds decent through the speaker, with crisp highs and powerful bass depth, but it can distort at higher volumes. Ultimately, the SRS-RA5000 doesn't live up to its promise of powerful, listener surrounding audio, and it definitely doesn't justify its high price. The SRS-RA5000 looks a bit like a very large electric razor, with its three large, circular upper grills built on top of a black plastic enclosure. It's quite hefty at nearly 11 pounds and roughly 13.0 by 9.4 by 8.9 inches, HWD. Three 1.8-inch drivers fire audio upward and at angles through the top surface of the speaker. Three more 1.8-inch drivers face horizontally outward from behind the wraparound black grille cloth. Inside, a downfiring 2.9 subwoofer delivers the bass. The intended front of the speaker has the Sony logo along its upper edge. The two opposite panels hold power, input, and sound mode, calibration buttons on the left, and playback and volume controls on the right. The included power supply connects to the underside of the speaker, where a sound mode LED indicator shines a color to tell you whether it's playing 360 reality audio, immersive audio, or neither. A 3.5mm O input sits on the rear corner of the speaker enclosure. No cable is included, along with an open port for efficient airflow when the drivers are pumping. This back panel also acts as an NFC pairing zone. Once you place the speaker somewhere, it will calibrate itself by playing a series of sounds and measuring how they bounce off surfaces in the room. The process is quick, and can be repeated as necessary. A Wi-Fi connection is required for 360 reality audio. Once the speaker is on your home network, you can stream tracks with this technology from services that support it. A working list of those services is available in the Sony Music Center app. During testing, the list was limited to Amazon Music, Nugs.net, and Tidal. Of course, even on compatible services, you need to play specific 360 reality audio tracks for the experience. The setup process with the Sony Music Center app is a bit of a headache. The easiest thing we accomplished was pairing the speaker via Bluetooth manually, outside of the app. After that, connecting the speaker to our Wi-Fi network with the app took multiple tries. And after that, setting up the various services through the app was additional work. Getting it to work with Amazon Music HD was a particular pain, involving handshakes between the Sony, Alexa, and Amazon Music apps that didn't all work right away. The app has Spotify streaming built into its menu, and the speaker itself is Google Cast compatible. You can control the SRS-RA5000 with Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant using a smart speaker or your phone, but it doesn't offer either voice assistant directly. One thing that needs to be underscored here, 360 reality audio is only available from a limited number of streaming services, and generally you must pay for the premium version of each one. So after promos and free trials expire, you can easily be looking at an extra $20 in monthly subscriptions. The SRS-RA5000 is compatible with Bluetooth 5.0, and supports SPC and AAC Bluetooth codecs. It doesn't have a built-in battery for portable use. We tested the speaker's basic stereo audio capabilities over Bluetooth, and moved on to Wi-Fi to test 360 reality audio separately. In stereo, the SRS-RA5000 doesn't impress on tracks with intense sub-bass content, like the knife's silent shout. The speaker's drivers distorted heavily on this track at medium-high to high volumes. That's a pretty bad sign, especially for a speaker this size and price. Bill Callahan's Drover, a track with far less deep bass in the mix, gives us a better sense of the speaker's general sound signature. The good news is that we didn't notice any distortion. The bad news is that this, and virtually every other track we played, only sounded good in stereo, with immersive audio turned off. Even then, the SRS-RA5000 doesn't sound like a $700 speaker. It offers some decent bass depth, bright highs, and solid balance between the two, but it doesn't reach a level of quality that would justify its price. Turning on the immersive audio button in the app makes the track sound outright bad. The balance of the mix is destroyed, vocals sound nasal, and bass is either damped down or wobbly, depending on the moment. This is true of immersive audio on every track we tried it on, it just sounds tinny and bizarre across the board. When we switched to 360 reality audio, the Amazon HD Music app had a playlist awaiting us, 22 songs, the best of 360 reality audio. I saw Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing on the list, and since I know this recording well, I started with it to get a sense of how 360 reality audio changes the experience. I pressed play with an open mind that wanted 360 reality audio to somehow make sense, and I was disappointed. The track simply sounded wrong, so I recalibrated the speaker. That didn't work, so I moved the speaker and recalibrated it again. No luck. I have to be blunt here, especially when Marvin Gaye's sacred catalog has been debased. 360 reality audio just sounds terrible. Unnatural reverb is added to the lead vocals, and the background vocals are boosted to the point that they sound even louder than the lead. Elements of the mix that are supposed to play a supporting role pop out to grab your attention. If you've ever heard a stereo mix with only one speaker working, so you only get some of the audio, that starts to approach what 360 reality audio sounds like. To give it a fair chance, I tried some other tracks. Take 5 from the Dave Brubeck Quartet fared slightly better. Live music is more likely to have a believable 360-degree atmosphere than meticulously panned, overdubbed studio tracks. But even this track is soaked in reverb compared with the original. David Bowie's Space Oddity, 2019 mix, gets some extra reverb, too, and the delay on the countdown to lift-off portion to the song is exploited to such a ridiculous degree that the effect overtakes the mix. In addition, the audio can sound wildly different depending on where you're standing. For instance, you get more lead vocals in front of the speaker, but you hear more backing vocals standing behind it. The speaker is supposed to create a 360-degree, room-filling experience, but it ends up simply making some tracks unlistenable from certain areas of the room. I have never been more thankful for my stereo system's existence, because soon after I finish this review, I can go back and listen to the real stereo mixes and wash these bizarre remixes out of my ears. Perhaps modern music that gets recorded and mixed from the start with 360 reality audio in mind will sound better, but right now, this just isn't a quality audio experience. Outside of the clumsy effects, there is nothing 360-degree, three-dimensional, or immersive at all about this. Sound is merely bouncing off of surfaces because drivers are aimed at them. It works to an extent, but the effect makes more sense for movies, and generally speaking, doesn't work for music. We've heard this before in the Amazon Echo Studio, but that's a $200 speaker partially targeting use alongside TVs and equipped with far more features than the SRS-RA5000, so it can be much more easily forgiven for what its acoustic tinkering might do with music. It's also an effect common with soundbars, but again, those are intended for use mostly with TV and movie content that can be more readily enhanced with spatial audio. The SRS-RA5000 can't get around a simple truth: music filtered through immersive audio effects or offered in 360 reality audio just doesn't sound better than its stereo mix. Even if it did, The SRS-R5000 doesn't deliver audio performance worthy of its sky-high price. Sony makes some of our favorite audio products, from fantastic noise-canceling headphones to professional studio gear, but the SRS-RA5000 is a failed attempt at reinventing the fundamentals of how we experience recorded music. This is where we normally mention other similar products, but I haven't tested any products comparable with the SRS-RA5000. The Amazon Echo Studio comes closest, but its own acoustic manipulation will probably upset audio purists as well. That said, it's easy to find wireless speakers with better sound quality than the SRS-RA5000, even at a lower price. We're fans of Klipsch's The Fives, $800, Audioengine's A5 Plus, $500, and even Sony's $200 Hi-Tas 350 soundbar. Ultimately, any of these options deliver a better listening experience than the SRS-R5000.